Alright guys, so Twan just shared with you guys how to pique their interest and share a third-party tool with them. And you always, once you get them through that process, you want to follow up with them and also link them with a three-way call. It's so crucial, guys, that you don't miss that step because that's how you lose people. And I got to tell you guys, Twan and I have had that happen to us so many times that we introduced them to the third-party tool. We shared all this information. We even gave them product, but unfortunately Twan and I were so busy that we forgot to follow up with them. And a year later, and it was fair game that we hadn't contacted them, and a year later we saw them at live events and they got recruited by someone else. So guys, make sure you don't skip this part. The fortune is always within the follow-up. So make sure that once you get them their interest peaked and they've seen some third-party information, what the three-way call is designed to do is allow you to have your prospect hear a success story within Nerium. Because the reality of it is your prospects are your warm market. That means they know you. They know all your bad habits, like Twan said. So it's going to be really hard for them to take you serious in business. So what the three-way call is designed for is for them to hear someone else's story and be able to have your expert answer all the questions and to validate all of the information they had just seen. And they're able to invite them to a live event if they're not ready to sign up and they want more information. The third-party expert can invite them to whether it's a live event or to a blitz call or to any other thing outside of them that they need, or maybe even direct them to another video. And also, it gives the expert the ability to do the awkward close on your prospect. Because you guys ever have a family member or a friend that's trying to sell you something, but you don't want to say no because you don't want to seem unsupportive, but you also don't want to buy their product. So what you do is you avoid them or you run away from them to avoid it overall. Well, what the third-party expert's designed to do is to ask for the awkward close. And if your prospect says no, well, guess what? It's not going to create awkwardness between you and your prospect, because technically your prospect didn't say no to you, they said no to a stranger. So allow your third-party expert to do the awkward close for you. And then also, three-way calls, it's duplicatable. Because guys, in this business, it's not about what works, it's all about what duplicates. And how three-way calls are, how they look like and how you should set them up, it should be this. So let's say you're following up with your prospect. When you call them, you always want to make sure and verify that they watch the third-party tool that you gave them. You never, ever want to throw a prospect on a three-way call if they know nothing about our company, because number one, it's going to make the expert awkward because they don't know what to do with this prospect because they've never seen anything about Nerium, and if they share their story, it just sounds like they're bragging. And then also, it's awkward for your prospect because they know absolutely nothing about the business and they're hearing this person brag about their story and they have no idea what's going on. So make sure you verify that they've seen a third-party tool to its entirety. If they haven't seen it, then just say, oh, you know what? Okay, great. I actually want to send you this other video that's shorter, or I actually want you to read this article in the magazine. You know, make sure you direct them to another tool if they haven't seen it. But let's say they saw the video and they said, you know what? I did get a chance to see the video. Well, this is the question you want to immediately ask them is, what did you like best? Guys, never ever call a prospect and say, hey, what'd you think about it? Because then, you know what? They're really going to tell you what they think about it. But if you drive a positive question for a positive response, they're going to start pinpointing the things that they actually liked about the video. So the best way to ask is, what did you like best about what you saw? And they're going to go ahead and pick it out, and they're going to say, well, I like the results, or I like the money, or I like the car, or I like the fact that you get a free iPad. And once you can pinpoint what interests them the most, then you're going to be able to share that with your expert, and then that way your expert can either drive the three-way call to a sign up or be able to direct them better towards more information that they want to hear about. And guys, before you do the call, this is what I always tell all of our brand partners, is that save all of your upline's phone number into a group text and shoot them a quick text message saying, hey, are you free for a three-way, before you actually even call your prospect. Because what that allows is that it gives your expert time and a notification that a three-way call is going to come through soon so that they're prepared. Because you never want to just call your expert out of nowhere without them knowing, because a lot of the times your expert's probably either going to be at their normal job if they still work, or they're going to be in an activity with their family, or doing personal things, or doing their Nerium business. So you want to just give them a heads up so that they're aware that you're calling in for that three-way call, so that they make time to be able to pick up the line for you. So guys, make sure you text them. And then also, you want to try to mirror match your expert with your prospect. Now, the last thing you want to do is throw a single mom of 2 kids on the phone with an ex-construction worker that has no kids. It does not relate, guys. So make sure you mirror match your expert with your prospect so that your three-way call can be more relatable and more sincere, so that they can connect with that person and picture themselves doing what that expert did as well. So make sure you mirror match them. And guys, the last thing you want to do is make sure you edify your expert before you get them on the line. Because a lot of times what happens is that I've had three-way calls where I haven't been edified, and they literally just said, hey, I want you to talk to Van. And they just threw me on the phone, and I felt awkward, and the prospect felt awkward. I even had one time the prospect didn't even know anything about me. I just got thrown on the line by surprise, and the prospect actually directly spoke with the brand partner, not with me, because she felt awkward that a stranger was on the line. So guys, make sure you edify your expert. Make them sound like the Donald Trump of Nerium, so that your prospect gets excited about wanting to hear their story. Because there's 2 ways this three-way call can go. The first one could just say, here, talk to my friend Van. Now they're thinking in their head, who's Van? Why do I want to talk to this stranger? Or you can edify me by saying, hey, you know what? I'm working directly with a girl named Van. She's been super nice to me. She's been so helpful. She's been able to help so many people. She makes a 6-figure income from home, and she's super busy. She has 2 kids, but she's always willing to help. And I know she's not always available, but I was able to get a couple minutes of her time. Hang on real quick. And here's a quick tip, guys. Never ask permission to get someone on a three-way call, because they're always going to say no. Because no one wants to get on the line with a stranger. So never ever ask them like, hey, do you want to get on a three-way call? Just assume it. Just say, hey, let me get you on the phone with my friend Van. She's been super successful. She's been able to help tons of people make a lot of money, but she's also been able to help her family out. She's a mother of 2. Edify, and then get me on the line, because the worst thing that can happen is they'll just say, oh, no. But if you ask permission and get a no every single time, you're never going to be successful about getting someone on a three-way call. So never ask someone if I can get you on a three-way call. Just assume and do. And when you guys call your expert, guys, keep it short, sweet, and simple. I've had it where brand partners have called me and told me their whole life story of their prospect, and their prospect sitting on the other line. 5 minutes has passed, and the prospect is sitting there wondering, what the heck just happened? Did they forget about me? And they end up hanging up the call because they think you forgot about it. So keep it short. This is what you want to do. Tell your expert what tool they've seen. So say, oh, you know what? Hey, Tuan, you know what? Sarah saw the DVD, and she liked the fact that you could earn a free car, and she is a insurance agent. Okay? That's it. That's all you have to tell them. And then all you want to do is just say, okay, let me connect you. And if you could close the deal or maybe invite them to a live event, that would be great. Then all you do is merge the line. And guys, this is so crucial. You as the brand partner, you want to make sure you mute your line and stay quiet and just listen and take notes. Never, ever is it okay for you to unmute your line and interrupt your expert from the three-way call, because what it does is it de-edifies your expert, and you actually make it look bad, because what you just went ahead and did was you talked them up and said they knew everything about Nerium, and then you jumped on the line and said, well, don't forget to tell them this, Van, or don't forget to do this, or don't forget to tell them that this is that. Guys, if this is the expert, you got to allow them to be the expert. You can't hop in and say, hey, let me get an expert on the line, and then you automatically become the expert. So you just de-edified everything they just did. So make sure you just stay on mute and listen and take notes. And even bite your tongue. Even though sometimes you might have an expert where you felt like you can answer the question better, doesn't matter. Allow them to do their job. Bite your tongue and just hold and listen. And when they're done, make sure you thank your expert for getting on the line to show appreciation. But not only that, it gives the expert the ability to edify you back as the brand partner by saying, you know what, it's a great person you're working with, to build that trust and respect. And guys, last thing I want to add in, I know it's not in there, but when your expert hangs up, and let's say if your prospect is led to another tool, hang up the line and email it. Do not sit on the phone for another 30 minutes explaining other things that you thought the expert should have explained. Or if they're ready to sign up, immediately take their application. You don't have to explain any more than that. I've actually stayed on the line after a three-way call because my brand partners don't know it, but I stayed on the line and I've heard them talk for an extra 30 to 45 minutes. And by the end of that time, I've had potential brand partners say, you know what, I actually have to get going. I got to run out to my daughter's soccer practice. And you know what, I'll call you back later to sign up. And she never called back. So guys, if they're ready to sign, just sign them. Don't add any more to that. If they need a third-party tool outside of what they already saw, don't sit on the line and try to convince them. Just send them the tool, hang up the line, and move on with it, okay? And other thing is, a part of mastering the 2-a-day is utilizing the follow-up system, three-way call. And the last thing you do is you would sponsor them. And guys, this is the power of duplication of doing 2 a day. Can you imagine you doing 2 a day? That means you're exposing 10 people a week. Let's say you're working 5 days a week and you're exposing 40 people a month. Well, guys, if you learn to just do 2 a day and keep it simple and duplicatable, once you start recruiting a team of people and you've mastered the 2 a day because you want to become the people you attract into your Nguyen business. So in order for you to attract the people that are going to do 2 a day, you yourself have to learn to do it and master it yourself. Well, this is what it's going to look like. When you bring in a team of 10 people that learn how to do 2 a day, well, outside of your 2, you're going to have an additional 20 exposures happening in your team every single day. That's an extra 100 a week to 400 a month of exposures because all you did was learn how to do the 2 a day and you taught a team of people to do it. Now look at what happens when you build a team of 30 people. That's 60 exposures a day, 300 a week, and 1,200 exposures a month. And if you do that, and you do that consistently for a year, that's over 15,000 exposures happening in your team. Now guys, with 15,000 exposures, do you think you can sign up maybe 1 or 2 or 3 to 5 to 10 people? Absolutely. So guys, learn how to master the 2 a day, following the system by giving them a third-party tool and setting the follow-up and with a 3-way call. And the prospecting philosophy, guys, is have posture when you do it because people can feel your confidence or your lack of confidence. So if you come in there not feeling too sure about what you're talking about, nobody wants to follow that. If I walked in and said, hey, I have a great business that I kind of think it kind of works. I haven't really made money with it yet, but I think you can. You don't want to portray that to your people. You want to have confidence, build the confidence. If you don't have confidence in the business because you haven't really made money yet, well, borrow someone else's confidence. And when you walk through the door, you've got to know you've got the best thing in town right now. And you want to portray that in your talk because if you're confident in what you're saying, people are going to want to follow that. And then also you want to make sure you understand that sorting versus selling. You want to make sure you understand that philosophy because we're not in the business to sell people. We're really truly in there just to sort, and it's a numbers game. You got to go through enough people to find them. You don't want to try to convince all these people because if you have to convince them into the business, that means you have to convince them to do something in the business. So guys, make sure you're sorting. I've always heard that amateurs convince, professionals sort. So guys, make sure you're just sorting through the numbers as fast as possible. Don't get emotionally attached to the response or the people because guess what? Miriam is not going to be for everyone, and you don't have to convince them or sell them on why it's the best thing in the world. The product will do that, and the opportunity. Your job is to share the information with them and let them decide whether this is something they want to further pursue or not. And guys, fortune is in the immediate follow-up. Like I said, never leave it to chance. You know, Tuan and I have lost so many people in the past 2 years we've been in business because we've exposed them to the information, but we completely forgot to follow up with them, and they ended up finding another brand partner to sign up with. So make sure you always, every time you set up giving a third-party tool, make sure you always set up a immediate follow-up time to re-chat with these people, because there's either one of two things that will happen. You are going to follow up with them until they sign up, or they will completely tell you, no, don't ever call me again. When you get that no, don't ever call me again, that's when you know, okay, they're not ready for this business. They don't want to do this business. But if they haven't given you a definite answer, they have to continue to stay within your pipeline. And guys, work with the willing. Don't try to drag a dead body. It's just going to frustrate you. It's just going to piss you off. And then also, it's going to bring negative energy into your business if you're going to sit there and try to convince people that don't want to work. So always work with the people that are willing to work, that are coachable, that have the desire, and they're willing to work with you, because it's just going to make your business so much easier.